So I think other things to talk about for newbie here is that pretty much every single one of the heroes actually has pretty good lane shove. So we could actually see them play this very similar to what I think there's a little bit of like liquid at TI in this draft in terms of how we might see them play. It's just Venomancer nonstop shoving lanes, Puck hiding in the trees, nonstop shoving lanes, Anti-Mage shoving lanes, supports being able to sit behind them so that even if they get caught, there can always kind of be a grave or a song to counter initiate. And I don't even know if newbie ever really have to take a fight that like isn't on their terms. I think they can just kind of play the whole map, and then once their anti-mage is 4 or 5 slotted and he's feeling like a monster, they can just kind of go. So for VG.J.Thunder, the way I'm looking at this is that they probably need to get started early. They need to take those tier 1s quickly so that they can get their centaur online more quickly, and then the centaur needs to kind of snowball with them from there with the blink dagger. I think that's the path to victory if you're VG.J.Thunder.
So get started early, essentially. So that I guess that means Chen needs to have a good start here, more than likely for VG.J.Thunder. Not necessarily in terms of kills, but at least in farm, and then rotate that into towers or something along those lines.
Yeah, cross your fingers for lucky creeps this game. That's I think that's part of that. That's actually part of the Chen strat here. They'll probably grab a couple of smokes, move around, try and grab a few kills. The lanes are not that easy to kill. The Venomancer is quite susceptible, but Puck and Anti-Mage might be a little bit more difficult to do all that much about in the early game. So definitely a timing to look out for is going to be, maybe once the Sven is 6 or something like that, go and make a rotation on the Venomancer and then try and take that offlane tier 1 pretty quickly. I don't think it's that important of a tower for newbie, but like I was saying, just that early cash flow is going to be really important for VG.J.
Yeah, that's they want to get as much gold as they can, transition that into a good mid game. Salar gets a few items, and all of a sudden they start taking fights in towers like crazy. It's not going to be easy to do that because of the reasons you mentioned. KP really the only one that's going to get caught, and I'm sure he's fine if he goes down a lot of these situations, but we will see. We have a bit of an issue. I don't know what the issue is. I know that Salar's not here. And I've asked Nikki. I don't think she understands or she knows either. I think we'll find out in a moment. They only have a certain amount of pause time, by the way. But this might be a server issue, so maybe it's not Salar's fault. I don't know. I honestly have no clue. I think everybody else is here, so I think it's a Salar issue more than anything else. But
yeah, probably. I'm sure we'll get it all sorted out eventually.
Yeah. Anyway. Ooh, DUTV. 820's reconnected, so that's a good sign. Maybe Salar will be next. Man, I saw a Tiny game earlier. It was the Optic Complexity game. I don't know if you saw it, game 3. Or was it game 2? Game 2. And Limp played Tiny, and it looked like the Tiny of old, but he just crushed on it. Like, they had a Pudge too, and the combination, like, he would hook him into a Dismember. It was hype. I want to see more Tiny, but I think that hero is still probably... Because I was talking to Aosin about it. He was like, is this a Tiny thing or is this a Limp thing? And I'm like, it's probably a Limp thing more than a Tiny thing.
Probably, right. Limp is a beast on that hero.
Yeah. Maybe someday.
Yeah, it feels... It's really hard for Tiny to build armor now, I think. I was trying to think about it. Like, what do? Do you buy Solar Crest? Buy Armlet? Do you just try and hold out until you build AC? Like...
So he built, if I remember correctly, Treads, Drum, I think Manta at some point, which was it was good because there was like overgrowth and he wanted to get out of it, and that was like the only way they could lock him down was overgrowth. So he built Manta for that reason. And then what else? He built AC after that. So AC obviously is the big one. Oh, he also built Blink early on in the game. But yeah, like the only time he had any agility, or rather any armor, was when he went agility treads, which is so, it's just so freaking, why would you give that hero 0 agility? I don't understand. What's the point? Is he really that strong? No. Then I don't know. I'm sure they had a reason for it.
Maybe he would have been strong with the other changes. I mean, he's got the status resistance now. He's got better farming even without having, I mean, they completely, I think removing the Ags is actually probably a pretty smart change, right? If they wanted to add the Wisp Ags
Oh,
Talent,
true.
right? Like I think the only way that they could get away with that was like, okay, we have to just remove Tiny's Zags somehow. Also, Craggy Exterior was a pretty boring passive, and we've been seeing this overall trend of just removing boring passives and throwing trees at people is hype. So
It's pretty funny
I,
though when like there's a big fight breaking out and somebody like jumps in to try to make an initiation happen and gets like craggied immediately and you're just like, huh? What's happening?
yeah, no, we won't have any more of those highlights where Enigma tries to blink in Black Hole and accidentally auto attacks and stuns himself on the Craggy. I've seen that too many times, but those days are gone now.
They should have just built
Fortunately.
Craggy into Tree Grab or something like that. Nah, that'd make it
Yeah.
that'd make it super broken. But
Nah, give him the Craggy talent. 80% Craggy or something.
right, they gave the
Yeah.
Void backtrack. I mean, they gave
Yeah.
the Wraith King skeletons. I mean, they're keeping in line with everything else that happened in the past Dota 2 patches in history. So
We even got some Dota 1 throwbacks in this patch. We got the shield back, we got sleeping neutrals. Like I don't understand why sleeping neutrals are in now. We've had what, 7 years to implement it.
there was
But,
a Z-Freak almost denied himself in the last game that I watched, and he literally was like a sliver of health. Like he had like maybe 10 HP, and he went to go to the neutrals, and they were asleep. And you could just see, you could feel him like through the computer being like, "What the fuck? Are you kidding me?" Like you could just see see his regret. Yeah, like it was pretty funny. He had to go for the auto attack instead, and then he just dies to the other team, and he's just like, "Come on, man." But there's also been another Dota 1 throwback, not necessarily in terms of the patch. I can't remember who built it. It was on Liquid, I think, during the grand finals of Dota Pit. It was the double stout shield, and I was like, what's happening? What year is
I heard
this?
about that. Yeah, I heard about that.
I couldn't understand it.
Poor man's shield is back, except it's 2 stat shields. I remember when that was the thing on Axe
Dude.
back in Dota 1, and it's like, yep, you go jungle, you start with 2 stat shields.
I think that was such a thing that in like the recommended items and when you came into Dota 2, and I might be lying about this. This honestly just might be a joke for me, but like I could have sworn there were 2 stat shields in your recommended buy or in some guides when I first came into Dota 2. I'm sure that's not true, but I'm sure I'm just making that up.
We may never know.
I want to know who built the double stout shield now. Now I'm just like, damn it, when was that?
It wasn't. It must have been what, Matu or.
Oh, it was Matsu on the Lycan. It was Matsu Lycan. Yeah.
Lycan mid, 2
yeah.
stouts. Yeah.
I knew it was game 3. I knew I was right about that. I was thinking. I was like, oh, I wonder what game was it? By the way, just to give an update on to the players, what the issue is. Salar's PC apparently is broken, and they're swapping it in. I'm guessing they're at a team house, one would assume.
I wish I had a spare PC just sitting around.
Right? That would be nice. Actually,
Yeah,
I
it
have
would
like
be
a million
nice.
of them, so I don't know why I'm saying that would be nice. I actually have we have literally like 6 or 7 spare PCs. Well, not spare. We have 6 or 7 PCs at the house, so we have replacements if necessary.
You have the technology.
We really do, man. We've come a long way. The Moonduck House, we're not screwing around, guys, and you're gonna see here pretty soon. It's Midas mode happens. You're gonna see we're not messing around at the Moonduck House.
Hype.
Yeah, so that'll be soon. Remake, please. No, it's all right. Stop saying remake. There's no issue. The servers are fine. See, Salar's back. All right, listen.
Yeah.
All you needed to do was complain in chat.
Everybody just take a chill pill.
All right. We got it, guys. Don't even worry. Game 1 is about to get underway. Equals, says Kaka. Yes. I agree. Exactly. All right, come on. All you just have to say is G. That's not G. That's equals. Type in the right button. Please. Kaka, I'm going to lose it. I swear to God. We're going to get there. We're going to get there, guys.
We're gonna have some sweet Dota. Watch, it'll be all this waiting. Game started late. Well, the game didn't start late. Server issues, PC issues, 20-minute win.
That would be hilarious.
That'd be the cherry on top.
I think I want to see a game with like 30 kills at the first 10 minutes in the game. That's what I want to see, and it might happen. You never know. Although
down.
there's an anti-mage
I'm
in this
down.
game, so probably not. And we'll see.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe SCC goes.
He goes
insane.
crazy. I've seen it before. This dude's a player.
It has happened. It's not completely out of the realm of possibility.
His Queen of
Okay, so let's see.
Pain was really good in Dota Pit. So
Do we have any early moves coming out? Nobody has given Kama any Any tangos just yet. I'm sure he will tax his Wind Ranger in just a second. But looks like Nubi going to be making a 4-man move. Anti-Mage is just heading down towards bottom at the moment.
Good luck, Moogie. You're alone for now. Hope they don't run at you. I think they're going to trade. I think it's going to be this kind of situation where both teams just go after these 2 runes. And it's a 2-for-2 trade in terms of runes. Probably.
This is the consequence of giving everybody a TP scroll. You got cores running miles and miles away from their actual lane just to go and put pressure on somewhere.
Are they gonna go for
Is
this?
in trouble here.
He has Riptide.
I think they can get.
They got the Gale, yeah. He's got Warcry.
Damage.
There's the Poison Touch. Illuse Europe should be next. He's under the tower. Kaka doesn't, I don't think, really care. The tower's not doing that much to him. It's gonna be First Blood going to KP. So they literally just dove the tower on a Sven 10 seconds before the game even starts. And
Dick's base armor, baby. That's what it's about. Position for Nagasarn.
yeah, that's a classic. My God, I was like, Kaka's not even taking any damage. So it'll be a 2-for-2 trade for the runes as expected. They take them sort of. There's one team top, one team bottom, but the First Blood will get things going the way of Newbie. Get off to a good start for Kaka, who is going to sit top and help out this KP Venomancer, and then Mugi is alone for now, and we'll see if Yang's gonna pull the wave.
All right, yeah, this is definitely the play for Yang. Oh, he missed.
He missed one. It's whatever. Yeah, who cares?
It's fine. It just means that is he gonna drag it straight in? Okay, I guess he realizes that the supports are not here, so he doesn't actually have to drag it all the way back, and they've actually got the dual lane, so better for them to try and put pressure on Anti-Mage right from level 1 instead of giving him quick level 2 or anything like that.
Right. So Mugi, this will be a rough go for a couple of moments. We'll keep our eyes peeled here. The top lane is really where the action might happen. In fact, there's the Gale. Warcry coming out from Sideline. This is just harass from KP. It's level 1 Gale, no other damage coming in. It's just back and forth action, kind of. So. All right. Now they've rotated in the Faith Dazzle, who was spotted by Ward. And I'm curious to see how much Fade can get done to this Wind Ranger. Again, we talked a lot about it. He is the support Wind Ranger. And I'm curious to see what he can accomplish against Mugi and Faith down bottom.
Got some sick Orb of Venom harassment going at the moment. Actually, just plinking both of these heroes down. They have quite a lot of sustain. Mugi brought 10 tangos, so he was prepared for this eventuality.
Yeah.
But all right, Chen to me is the big question mark for VG.J.Thunder, and right now he's just getting run at by Kaka, who's auto attacking him a bit.
He's been doing this for like the past minute, just running into the jungle, dealing with him, making sure he can't just jungle and sit and farm. And it's a Wild Wing, by the way, which I don't know how good he feels about that with his first big creep.
I think that's super meh, unfortunately for him. We'll see if he can get something a little bit better. I think he'd like to pull or stack this camp, potentially get a better creep, but oh, he did actually get it.
Wow, that was... Kaka got the bounty rune, though. He traded it away, and Chen was on top of it. Now they've got the Gale. Ah, you're just dead, buddy. He should... he might have been able to TP out in time.
Deny yourself, my man.
Yeah, he's trying. They're going to try to... Yeah, exactly. They're going to go for the Wild Wing. He's going to try to turn it here in a moment here. Ah! One more auto tech. Nope, the Riptide. Good. Easy nuke for Kaka. And they were...
And he got the Wild Wing.
Did he really? Oh,
yeah,
the gold. Easy for Kaka. Nice. That was perfectly done.
They saw exactly, like, they knew his only play that he had, and they're like, yep, all right, you can try all you like. We'll
is Faith dead? Oh, Fade gets in with the wind run, and the power shot hit, and of course he had the Shadow Wave. That was, Faith stayed a little too long, I think. He thought he might have been fine under the tower, but he couldn't really move back any further. So nice little snipe coming in from Fade. He's going to have to go home. Level 3 on the Wind Ranger, and getting one kill. That's pretty nice.
Some more harassment on Sylar, just getting galed up again. Both carries, despite the pressure from the opposing team, actually still getting somewhat decent farm. I mean, they were chasing around the Chen for a little bit, so it makes sense that Sylar catches back up. But they've both just been doing aggro tricks, pulling individual creeps back towards themselves, and continuing to get decent CS.
Yeah, they're going to continue to harass Yang. Mugi's been putting on the pressure with the mana break, just doing some harass. Actually, it doesn't. He's level 2 mana break. Doesn't even have the spell shield yet. Not that he needs it or anything. We'll see a smoke gang from Fade and AO. They've been off the map for a while. They're going to try to go top and find KP. And this is what you were talking about. This is really the only lane they can gank, or they should be able to gank successfully. They don't even have Shackle Shot yet, so they have no other lockdown other than maybe the Centaur Conqueror, which, oh no, it's a Hellburst Smasher, excuse me, for AO. They have Stormhammer too, but that's about it. Kaka might tank this. He's gonna run right into Fade.
Run right on past.
Get the banner.
Just
See you
keep
later.
on cruising.
Yeah, and KP drops the ward down too, and they can't find this. So they make this big rotation. They don't even get the bounty rune. They don't get a kill. They don't even push him out or do any damage. And now Moogie could play a lot more aggressively down bottom with the help of Faith.
Yeah, I think the only other play that they could have tried for would have been to maybe try and camp the top rune, and then hope that SCCC makes a slightly aggressive play and like orbs the wave, and then jaunts over to the rune, and they're just standing there waiting for him and get the kill that way. But I was looking at SCCC the whole time that smoke gank was happening. He wasn't using orb at all in the mid lane. He wasn't interested in like nuking the wave either. And then as soon as he sees those heroes top, and as soon as they get scouted, he's like, sure, now I can start nuking the wave again. And I know that I can't really get ganked. I can't die solo to the Death Prophet, so I can just keep on farming. So very good map awareness by Newbie, realizing that smoke gank was probably going on.
And you could see the Chen with the ward. He used the Illusory Orb again, so just understanding, knowing that he's died a few too many times perhaps to these types of ganks, or that he's been involved in these types of ganks, knowing not to use his orb aggressively. So right now he's sitting at 22 last hits. He just surpassed that of the Death Prophet. SCCC is doing a pretty good job. Double null tally now, especially, going to make things a lot easier. AM's the top CSer as expected when you have this solo offlaner like a Centaur. Not much else you can do. So Moogie's farm should be pretty good. Sven is right up there with him, just getting treads now. KP's at 21 last hits. And the Chen is starting to get some CS. He has 15 last hits. He's only level 2. But we'll see if he can't find something here in the next couple of minutes. It's not really been the best start for this Chen in the jungle.
No, unfortunately hasn't really had too much of an impact just yet. I don't think he's had the best creeps. I don't know if he's found a single troll. It's mostly been like Hellbears and Wild Wings. But let's see what he can get done. Is he going to try for a little stack here? He really needs to get this one.
Yeah, it should be good. Dreamcoil mid, I think?
He's fine. He's fine.
Dreamcoil onto Kama. But there's the Spirit Siphon. SCCC still doing a lot of damage. Illusory Orb jumping in. He's kind of baiting this. Fade throws at the power shot. Not that he can really do anything else. And Kama's going to be able to find himself a haste rune. No bottle, though. He will take it. Maybe he runs down somebody. Probably not. So SCCC just throwing at the Dreamcoil kind of casually. And this will force him back for a moment. But now coming in from the backside, he has that haste rune still. Does Fade have Shackle? Now he does. Level 1. Illusory Orb jumping in. And it actually just misses on Fade. Now he's going to go for the TP instead. Shackle was just leveled up. There's the power shot. The exorcism, and SCCC in a lot of trouble is going to get dropped down. Kama gets it done, had the haste rune to work with, and unfortunate that he levels up, or rather, that Fade leveled up Shackle shot right before he TP'd.
Yeah, I don't know if he meant to jaunt and then TP and like didn't get the jaunt over towards the orb. He may have still died anyway, but nice little pickup there for VG.J, and they're going to get some free damage on this tier 1 mid with the exorcism running for a little bit, or at least force out the glyph. Meanwhile, top is taking some damage. KP starting to exert a little bit more pressure now that he's got the level 3 Plague Ward, so this isn't completely without a trade, but still a very nice grab for VG.J.
Yeah. In the meantime, Moogie's also still getting free farm bottom. And KP suddenly, seemingly out of nowhere, is now top in the net worth, 3,100, which is pretty interesting. Wow. I don't know where that farm came from.
Yeah, this Sven hasn't really been getting that much help, and yeah, Venomancer just farming well. Maybe he's been farming neutrals a little bit in the meantime as well, but yeah, they can't really seem to gank him. They've got a big wraparound coming in from AO.
It's only the Satyr, though, and the Wild Wing, which, whatever. He'll drop a ward. I think Kaka's going to notice this. This is going to get dewarded, I'm sure. They're going to ensnare him now, too. They needed the puck, and he's coming. There's that Dream Coil, which will stop the TP. Power Shot comes in onto Kaka. That's not going to really do much. They can even get these creeps, too. This Wild Wing's probably going to die to SCCC here. One more auto attack. Actually goes to Kaka, and they get the bounty. So this Chen is level 4. He's not having a great time. Meanwhile, bottom, Yang's in trouble. Stampede, he's out of mana completely. He has wand charges. He's going to have to use it to survive, but unfortunately, it's only 3, so might as well not even. And Moogie will just get the easy kill with Mana Void coming out. So 2 quick kills across the map, and now Newbie are starting to take hold of this early game.
Yeah, they're really getting some nice wards up, keeping the pressure up. Taking that tier 1 is going to allow KP to continue farming over here. Can keep shoving the lane and then farm maybe the small camp and the big camp in the meantime, which is always going to be great. Kaka doing pretty reasonably in terms of levels. Ken is level 4, but like we've been saying, just doesn't really feel like he's done all that much. Fade has done all right on the Wind Ranger, but we'll see how that goes as we head in towards the mid game. I feel like it's just the impact from the Dazzle and the Naga is always going to be way more consistent than the impact that the Chen and the Wind Ranger can have. You know, Chen a little bit reliant on luck, reliant on hitting some good rotations, and Wind Ranger also kind of the same thing. Got to get some good rotations down and a little bit less reliable with the shackle shot.
So then, if your supports aren't really providing you the best early game, well, hold that thought. I think Kaka's probably dead. Stormhammer, power shot. All right, well, that's a nice kill. But what I was going to say is, if your supports aren't providing you the best early game, what are you doing here for VG.J.Thunder? We talked about them needing to get off to a fast start. I mean, obviously, it's still really early. What do they need to get done here in these next few minutes? Maybe take some stacks for Sylar? Something like that?
Yeah, I don't think they can really get Sylar involved. I think their best avenue is to try and get some kind of gank going, maybe linking up the Death Prophet and the Centaur, and then just using the Stampede to try and get in and get a kill, and then maybe follow that up with a little bit of tower pressure. But like we've said, Newbie just have so much spam, and Centaur just going to get straight jumped on here.
Yep, Ensnare comes out at the perfect time, Poison Touch. There's the Dream Coil. This is a dead Centaur, almost assuredly. They have the kill going the way of Mugi. No, he doesn't even get the Mana Void off as SCC gets the kill. Now rotating mid, Kama has the Exorcism. Whether or not they want to finish off this tower, it's going to be close. Crypt Swarm, they don't have Glyph, 108 HP. Can they get there in time? The deny, no, it's not going to be there. Now, maybe they can go on to Kama. Nope, too little too late. So, good attempts coming in, but a trade coming out tier 1 for the Centaur across the map.
Yeah, at least getting something. Sucks to have Centaur's Blink Dagger get slowed down a little bit, and I think Chen's, a couple of his creeps also got wiped out. He was trying to send in some Centaurs to save the Centaur, but those also just got nuked down. But yeah, okay, so they've at least got the tier 1. They're going for a smoke here. They've got the Exorcism. Stampede's going to be up in 35. So this is what I was kind of saying. Get the Death Prophet involved. She's the only hero that's really in a position to do too much more for you at this point of the game, but he can contribute quite a bit, so it would be good if they could get something.
Mugi just blinked right into them. They have a silence, level 1. There it goes. They still he might be able to fog and get out of here, actually. Yeah, he's fine. Faye just couldn't quite get in vision for the shackle shot. And that's a big commitment coming out from VG.Thunder. Although, I think their next choice, if they don't get that, is to maybe throw up the Exorcism mid.
Oh, Yang doesn't have a TP. 2 seconds to Stampede. Nobody else is here. He's going to be
All right, well, that was close.
Yeah, I guess kind of. Fade just holding onto the mid lane in the meantime with the power shot, which is good. They've thought about what's going to happen if they 4-man or 3-man down to this bottom lane. They know that there's going to be pressure elsewhere, so positioning heroes in the right place to try and deal with that.
Dream Coil mid on a Fade. Wind Run, he's going to snap it. Stunned for a little bit. The Ensnare will come out next. Illusory Orb jumping in, waiting. If that's onto 2 as Kama TP's in. Maybe they can get this kill. He has Exorcism and Spirit Siphon ready to go. As SCC a little bit low on mana, but he's going to be able to back out and make it away in time. This tier 1 tower also pretty low, but Kama's just sitting under it right now, making sure it doesn't get pushed or pressured. And KP literally the entire time has just been sitting top lane and making his home here. I think he just galled again on Diang, who now might be dead this time. He does have Stampede. He has Hooded Defiance too. It looks like he's actually just fine. Spoke too soon. All right.
Probably going to pick up his Magic Resist talent in a second as well, so not actually going to care that much about the Venomancer this game. Potentially. Still a ways away from his Blink, though. They are giving him kind of the most premium farm on the map here, though unfortunately he's having to spend a lot of time defending his tower, so he can't actually go and jungle a little bit in the interim. I think that's one of Centaur's big strengths as a hero, is you can actually shove the lanes and kind of jungle.
I think they're going to find Kaka again. He died. Like, this was pretty much the exact area he died last time. It's like right here. There was a tree here. I think that's where he got shackled to. Okay, I guess he really likes that spot.
A tough place to be playing. I mean, it's not even like there was a TP under the shrine or anything.
No.
That would have made it even more dangerous. Ooh, Faith dropping very low.
That's a great TP.
Yeah, Radiant gonna snag this mid-tier 1 for free. No deny for VG.J.
I think it's important to note Mugi just finished his Battle Fury, and he already has Treads. That's like 12 minutes. I know they reduced the cost, so it's not quite as amazing as it was beforehand, you know, when it used to be a bit more expensive. It's still really good timing, I feel like. He's just getting free farm.
Yeah, it's less of an accomplishment, but also more about there's been a lot of, you know, I think all the biggest things that have changed in terms of anti-mage are, one, that Battle Fury is a little bit cheaper, so he gets to it a little bit faster, but then also lane creeps are also just worth more. So he gets to the Battle Fury faster, and then the fact that he's one of the biggest CSers in the whole game, he accelerates so quickly. Like I feel like this anti-mage is just going to explode. We're going to not think about him for 5 minutes. We're going to look back. He'll have Manta, forget about him for another 2 minutes, and at that point,
they'll just win the game.
Probably be most of the way to Abyssal, yeah, and game will just be over.
Dream Coil mid, Warrunner gonna get caught. He does have to stampede in 1 second. There's the Gale coming out. They also have the Ensnare, and he gets sent back by the Chen. Nicely done. And now Faith's gonna get caught and killed. Exorcism Song comes in too late from Kaka. He doesn't have a TP scroll, by the way, so he is on the run, and he's in trouble. Power Shot will snipe him a little bit. In the meantime, TPing out is gonna be KP. So whatever initiation they had from SCCC turns out to go in the way of VG.J.Thunder. And a nice little pickup kill there, and a good send back from the Chen.
Yeah, nice send back, but I don't even know if Newbie are unhappy about that. They traded their Song of the Siren for an Exorcism and a Stampede, neither of which were used in any position to actually go and get any kind of a follow-up play. They're just getting, like I was saying in the draft, they're just kind of getting stuck on their side of the map because everything is getting shoved all the time by the supports, by the cores. Newbie are creating like oceans of space for Mugi to just run around in and farm up creeps with his Battle Fury. He's even clearing a little Ancient stack at the moment for some more acceleration.
I mean, it's what you've been talking about earlier. It's kind of like the way the Liquid play. They always have KP sitting up here top lane, just shoving this wave in. They had a support behind him, so the support tanks the gank, whatever, and then Mugi's just off somewhere else, farming the jungler in waves. And essentially, they're playing 4 versus 5 for Newbie right now. You can see it in the top lane, too, and you're kind of just like, well, what do? We don't have Exorcism for 68 seconds. Is this tower just gone? The Sven just did get a Blink Dagger. Maybe that's the item that gets him involved. I'm not sure.
Centaur. Yeah, they've got a really nice timing here with the 2 blinks coming online. This is probably the strongest timing that they have in like the next 10 minutes or so. They've got level 2 Exorcism. It's still down for 50 seconds, but whatever. If they win the fight, it'll probably be up by the time they get to a relevant objective. So they have to use these 2 blinks.
And then they're going to try to. They come in with a Shackle Shot. Mugi's going to fall. That Sylar's blink being revealed. And that is a huge kill. Down for 46 seconds. And Sylar getting that last hit, especially making sure they bring him down. That's about as big as it comes in terms of a pickoff for VG.J.Thunder.
Absolutely the best pickoff that they could get. And it does go to show that they're... there's a lot of lockdown on their team. And the Stampede is really helpful for getting everybody into position, right? This Wind Ranger doesn't really have very much farm, but doesn't really need it because they can have one of the other Blink Initiators go in and then just Stampede the Wind Ranger into position.
Right. Yeah, I think worth it there to get that kill, and they will find it. And KP just continuing to try to farm up top, continuing to throw these Plague Wards down. Tier 2 still sitting at 250 HP. Anti-Mage will respawn in 1 second. SCCC working on Yules for himself. They're going to go again here. They're going to do the same thing, but this time with a Centaur with Centaur Stomp. They need to be careful. They're going to just back up for now. They don't know who is behind them.
That's the scary thing about Newbie's lineup, right? Could be a Dazzle, could be a Naga. I think actually they see the Naga on mid, but the other thing is that the Blink Hoof Stomp is actually not a reliable initiation against Puck, and especially not against SCCC. Right, there's a chance that he just phase shifts the stomp and then drops a Dream Coil, and then you're actually the ones in trouble as his team swarms onto the shrine and swarms onto this tier 2, and then both of you are just dead. So I think probably a smart decision not to go for that, but they do still need to try and make some more plays, right?
Right.
I feel like they're still trapped in this situation, and I don't see a clear way out just sitting around twiddling their thumbs.
I mean, one AM kill is fine. That's nice and everything, but now all of a sudden you see Newbie are just sitting as 5, and they're going to push bottom together. KP, they rotated the Centaur. He TP'd top, and KP had this like island of wards up here, and he spotted the Centaur moving in like this, so he just TP's out as soon as he sees the Centaur, and then they go bottom as soon as they know the TP is done, and Centaur's top lane. There's no reason for them not to do this. You could see VG.J.Thunder are moving over together, smoked up. Maybe they find something here, but not before they lose this tier 1. And it doesn't look like they will. Maybe they find Kaka, actually, who's way out of position, kind of. He has Song. He's going to get silenced. He's dead anyway, but that's fine. Not a huge deal.
I think that's all right. I like the way that Newbie approached that push. They grouped up. They showed a bunch of heroes at bottom, and then as soon as they kind of knew that they know that VG.J.Thunder are looking for a fight. They know that they want to use these two blinks, so they show a bunch of heroes bottom as if they're pushing and then threatening for maybe a secondary tower, which kind of drags VG.J down there. Silo getting jumped. Can he just TP out?
He's trying to, and he will make it. And Yang now trying to counter initiate. His blink was put on cooldown though. I think he got hit by a plague ward as he TP'd in, which was nice by KP. He's gonna do the same thing again. Yang's just like, can I please blink, please? Hello? Okay. He's gonna go for it now. There's the stomp. He's alone though. They will have another coming in, but the poison nova's up. I think Yang just killed himself, I'm pretty sure. I think he's just dead. Gale comes out. Wind Ranger's nowhere near to deny him, and now they might find Wind Ranger. I don't think they have any lockdown, though. They have Yule Scepter, but he is Wind Run.
He's got no TP.
He's going to get silenced, but here's the Death Prophet. Now you back up. Now KP might be in trouble. He's just going to go for the TP, but there's a Yule Scepter to cancel it. Oh, he almost made it out. The Yule Scepter on the high ground. They will find it. The Shackle Shot. KP will now give his life. They stay too long. Perhaps they got a bit too greedy, and they will fall. But in the meantime, they skip. They're going to get this tier 2 tower top lane.
Yep, and with that, Anti-Mage going to pick up his Manta, so it doesn't have to worry nearly as much about the silence from the Death Prophet and even some of the other lockdown, depending on how his timing is. It is pretty scary, and you just start to see this gap between the Anti-Mage and the Sven open wider and wider. You know, a few minutes ago, they weren't that far apart in terms of net worth. I think Anti-Mage was like maybe just over 8k, and the Sven was kind of hovering around there as well, but as the map continues to open up more and more, and they've got all of these great split pushing wards down as well for him, it looks like they're kind of setting up Anti-Mage to just play on this top section.
Yeah.
Farming most of the dire jungle and then keeping this top lane pressured at all times, which is going to be really annoying for VG.J because it's constantly going to give newbie a lot of information about where VG.J are and what they're up to. Since that's the other problem for their lineup is once we get far enough into the game, they need to bring like 3 or 4 heroes to find a single kill, which is really tough because it makes the smoke really obvious.
Yeah, even now, they moved back towards that mid lane. They haven't showed up again. This is almost... I don't want to say it's obvious. I think maybe KP could be caught here, but already you can see Newbie are making the appropriate plans. KP's backing up. He actually knows something is going on. They're going to sit top. They're going to sit bottom as Triple C pushes the wave into the tier 2 tower. Now it's extremely obvious because there's nobody defending back at home. And VG.J.Thunder are going to move top. I would be surprised if Newbie get caught here.
They're just getting run around in circles.
Exactly.
Like they didn't stop them at Roche. They ran down mid. They didn't get anyone there. Now they're running all the way up to top, like you're saying. I don't know if they find anyone over here either.
They're going to see Mugi. Yang's going to go for a blink. Oh, he just misses him. He thinks he's up in the tree line. Mugi's about to walk right back in. Then finally he's going to get away. Kaka, he songs in time and he's going to TP out Kaka again. And they have illusions hitting the tier 3 tower. This is becoming a quick disaster, my friend. Oh, Jesus.
It's some pretty cool play to watch from Newbie.
For
I have
sure.
to say they know exactly what's going on. They know exactly what their game plan is. Everybody's making the right moves. Very, very, very nice to watch. Very frustrating if you're a VG.J.Thunder fan because you're just looking at because they're probably frustrated as well. They're like, we got our blinks. Let's go get some kills. Or maybe they find one.
All right, well,
KP.
KP's dead. They also lost the Chen on the other side. So, 1-for-1 trade. Even when they get a kill, they still lose somebody. Yeah, but it's just KP. I mean, I say that. He's the Venomancer. He's always going to be the one caught, if not the supports. But at least they get something out of it. You know, they get some more room. There's no plague wards on the map for a little bit now. But they can't defend bottom against Mugi, who's now, by the way, going Ags, and he almost has it as well within Aegis. Then he becomes pretty much unkillable at that point.
Reflect some shackles, reflect some storm hammers.
Exactly. Yeah.
It'd be very difficult to bring down. I think it is still possible, but you know, they have to expend some spells to pop it, and then I think they probably, I guess they have to start with the Centaur stun. That's kind of the only thing that they have at this point. If they silence, then he mantas, Shackle gets reflected, Sven stun gets reflected. I guess the Wind Ranger can maybe blink in Focus Fire to pop it, and then Shackle, but doesn't, I mean, not even close to a blink, just going for a Solar Crest at the moment.
She might die. Luckily, she has Wind Run on. He literally Wind Ran as that happened, and now he's actually kind of in trouble. He is still very
He is
tanky.
Manta.
Yeah, and that's just Aegis gone. Dream Coil comes too late. That's huge, actually. It's a kill that probably shouldn't happen, but he just gets jumped on, and now there's going to be the Stampede. They want more as well. All of a sudden, VG.J.Thunder, they're looking for the hunt. Now, there's that Spell Reflect coming right back at Fade. He's going to have to back away. God Strength is up. Stormhammer, that's on to one. But KP's fine. He's still got his Poison Over ready. He was silenced for a bit. Now they can try to turn and fight this. Exorcism has been dropped down. You might just want to back away instead if you're newbie. Song is up in 16. Yule Scepter, that'll catch onto Kaka. On the other side, Sylar still looking for this kill. Shackle shot. They've got the Grave. He's able to get his ult off, and that's huge. And now Yang is in trouble. Mugi on the back lines. AO is going to get dropped. They're trying to send somebody home. In the meantime, it's going to be 3 dead. A double kill for SCCC. It's about to be 4. Fade goes for the power shot. Can't find KP, and they're just getting kited around like crazy. It'll be 4 dead, a triple kill for this puck, and now up to a mega kill spree, and that will be a tier 2 tower at the very least. Base Kip.
That was some very nice teamfight execution from maybe Mugi, like we were saying, maybe getting a little bit ahead of himself, jumping in like that, but knew he had the Aegis, knew that his team wasn't too far away, and we're starting to see some of the problems with Sven. Even with a reasonable amount of net worth, Newbie's lineup is just so effective at kiting him. And for a hero like Sven, who's so reliant on just bursting down one hero at the start of the fight, Dazzle is so backbreaking. We saw the Shallow Grave come in, the Poison Nova went out, and I could almost feel the groan from VG.J.Thunder. They're like, oh, I guess both of us are just dead. And then they committed because they knew that they couldn't run away at that point. But very, very tough situation.
It is not easy. Good Manta. Mugi's able to get away, avoids the Stomp. Dream Coil comes out from SCCC, not even really needed, but we'll keep Mugi alive nonetheless as he gets out. Level 20 now, he gets the Blink Uncontrollable Illusion. Shocking. Really surprising stuff that he went for that talent.
Oh boy. Now he gets some free scouting, and maybe the illusion latches onto Centaur, and it cancels his blink and wastes all of his mana.
Blink canceling. Pretty good
at least it's level
talent.
20 now.
Yeah.
Pretty solid.
I'm glad they changed it.
It was so funny when you looked at his Dota buff page when it was at level 15, and it had some insane pick rate. It was like a 70 or 80% selection rate for that talent over the blink cooldown.
Yep.
And then the win rate of that talent was over 60%, I think. So if you got to level 15 on Anti-Mage and you skilled that talent, it had like a 50, like over a 60% win rate, which is absolutely ridiculous.
At that point in Pubs 2, you're already winning as it is, 9 times out of 10. Yeah. Or the game's close enough and you're an Anti-Mage and you just destroy everybody because you just get huge. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it's really, really strong. Get that extra illusion going. And Mugi should be fine here. He's going to have his Basher up in a moment. He has already the Aghanim's, which we talked about. He's level 21. He's very tanky. And I think at this point, if you're newbie, you only really need to keep the lanes pushed in and take Roshan at some point in the near future, which won't be easy, but we'll see if they can't find it. And they'll get a Shrine 2 out of it. I think they took both of them. No, there's one more left over here, the bottom lane.
It'll get ratted out eventually. But the other thing I do want to say, we've been harping on Anti-Mage a little bit. Like I said right at the start, I wouldn't mind a couple more little nerfs, but I don't think that this game is really on Anti-Mage being an insanely strong hero or anything like that. I think Newbie probably could have won this game with almost any other carry. Anti-Mage probably suited the playstyle the best, and they are looking at a pretty overall split pushy game plan, but I don't want anyone to think that I'm looking at this game and like, oh, Anti-Mage so overpowered, VG.J.Thunder just couldn't do anything because of AM. I don't really think that's the case. I think it's just Newbie playing some really clean Dota, really smart strat in the face of what VG.J.Thunder have, and VG.Thunder's draft just kind of falling flat on its face in some aspects, right? The Wind Ranger and the Chen.
That's exactly really the thing. I mean, you could talk about AM or whatever and how, especially Newbie played well, absolutely, but it comes down to the Chen not really getting much done. I don't think he had a single gank at the beginning of the game, except for Kaka, who he killed once or twice. I don't think Kaka was really concerned about that either. And the Wind Ranger got one solo kill on Dazzle at the beginning of the game, and they just couldn't quite move around the map. They couldn't find what they wanted. And the game's not over, but at 13, 14K now, net worth advantage for Newbie, they're just getting pulled everywhere. They're looking for a kill bottom. Kaka TP's out. They look for a kill on Anti-Mage. He blinks away, and you're just wondering, okay, well, what do we do? We'll run around the map trying to find something here.
Yeah, they've got a Shadow Blade on the Death Prophet at this point. Well, SCC.
Good CP. That was very smart. They have to use Hand of God for it, but I don't think they really are concerned about it. And,
That 8.3% magic resist, Travis. The int perk.
You're
I don't
in.
think it saved him, but it might be the. To me, it's like the most. It's the least interesting of the 3 perks that they added, but it may have actually had the biggest balance implications in terms of like Invoker now has almost a free hood at a certain point of the game. And you're Zeus and you try and nuke him, and it's like, why is this not doing any damage?
It feels like Zeus is getting nerfed even more with that stat change. Almost like he was already not really picked in the last couple patches because of Raindrop, and then this happens. You're like, well, what am I supposed to? I'm a Zeus lover. What do you want me to do, Ice Frog? What do I have to do for you in order for you to show me some love? It's just like. Anyway, they're going to try to find another. It is going to be SCCC, but he's easily going to be able to face shift that stomp coming in. Too little, too late. Yule Scepter comes out. He is juking and driving like crazy. Now they have a song. They see the exorcism. They back up. There's no reason to fight this if you're a newbie. They might still do it anyway, though. Maybe looking to jump on somebody. Now they're going to take it a little bit easy. Now the guys try coming in. They might find Kaka, but the Glimmer Cape comes out. Power Shot's there. They were using literally every spell and getting nothing for it for VG.J.Thunder. They're going to miss the stop. The Dream Coil comes out. This is actually ridiculous. They're actually, this is Betty Hill. They're literally making them run around using all of their abilities, and Newbie are just toying with them at this point. Now they're finally teeping away. They know Exorcism's done here in a moment, and they've got to run. This is so, it's just, visibly, it hurts to watch VG.J.Thunder just get moved around this much by Newbie. They're actually just owning. And now they go Roche.
They're getting kited so hard. Like, even that moment where Newbie popped the song, and then they kind of looked at the fight, and they're like, do we see any good opportunities? They had a few seconds, you know, they can kind of look at it from a few different angles. Anti-Mage is like, oh, he's talking to him, I've got my Abyssal Blade. And they're like, but he's got Exorcism, and then they just backed up. And just kept kiting the whole way, all the way back to the tier 2.
It's like the waiter brought them the food, and they looked at it for a moment, and they're just like, no, take this away. I don't want this right now. It's essentially what it was.
Yeah, it was... And now Anti-Mage, just going to be picking up an MKB in a second. Oh, Sven getting run at by Dazzle. This is Faith all by himself. He knows it. Actually, he does have God Strength, but he knows that Sylar is terrified to be out here.
All right, nobody saw that with Dream Coil. It's okay. You're going to get the kill anyway, I think. Ensnare. Yeah, I just not even needed it. They get the kill. And meanwhile, AM is just taking your base. GG's called. That was one of the roughest games I've seen in a while. VG.J.Thunder just had nothing really going. They got a couple kills here and there, 10 total. But AM continues to be a nuisance, and Newbie, more than that, was just absolutely outstanding in their draft and in their play. We talked about it quite a bit, but their kiting, their movement across the map, their ideas about what they wanted to accomplish, Newbie did everything right there, I think, Baseskip.
Yeah, I think so. I think the other thing that jumps out to me this game is I don't know if the Sven turned out to be that great of a pick for VG.J.Thunder. I think they may have taken it because they didn't want Newbie to have it, because Newbie may have taken it because it's good against the Death Prophet. But I guess we end up in one of these weird situations where maybe the Death Prophet wasn't actually that good of an opener in this draft, because they picked the Death Prophet, there was already the Dazzle to kind of deal with it, like we said, though it did force their hand, and then they maybe felt like they had to take the Sven because they didn't want Newbie to have it either, but then I think it slowed down the overall pace of their lineup a lot, and they just couldn't really get that much done. So we'll see. Maybe the draft will be a little bit better for VG.J in the second game.
It's going to have to be if they want to force this third game, because Newbie pretty much looked immaculate, and a lot of it started at the draft, as you talked about. So that's where they're going to have to start off here in this next game, and we will get into it in just a moment. So game 2 is going to be right around the corner. Hopefully we don't have any more server issues coming in. I think we've fixed that up, and Newbie now with a 1-0 advantage. So stick around, guys. We'll be back. Game 2 coming up next.
Newbies turn to ban.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Captain's Draft 4.0 Chinese Qualifiers. We are here with game number 2 of our first series, VG.J.Thunder versus Newbie. 2 of the 4 teams trying to make it to Washington, D.C., of course, in the middle of the winter to play in one of the most prestigious tournaments of all time, Captain's Draft, where only the best of the best play. And we're here, and we're excited because this is a great series, or at least it should be. Newbie destroyed game 1. VG.J.Thunder had a bit of a rough draft. They had a bit of a rough time. And we'll see what they need to get done here in this draft in order to win game number 2. It's going to be a bit of a tough one here. Of course, my name is Wont. With me is Basekit. But what do you think, man? How you feeling about the start of this draft? How you feeling for VG.J.Thunder here as we get going?
Well, I think that puck ban was very smart, and I'm really interested to see this Beastmaster pick. Because here's the thing: I was looking at some of Newbie's recent drafting, and they were first banning Beastmaster just nonstop. I think it's like their most banned hero since 707. But I don't think they'd picked it a single time. I don't know if it ever made
Not
it
that I
through
remember.
as the thing, but they seem to have, like, judging from the way that they ban, they seem to have a very, very high opinion of Beastmaster as a hero in this patch. And I mean, his win rate has gone up a lot as well with his changes with the extra neutral and whatnot. But I'm interested to see how it works out this game. I would guess KP's gonna be playing it. He's no stranger to playing micro heroes. I mean, they've put him on Nature's Prophet a little bit recently. I don't know if that's been 100% comfortable, but of course he's a pretty legendary Nagasiren player. So looking forward to seeing this Beastmaster in action.
I think he's just good overall, and I think Beastmaster is going to only serve to highlight his strengths on the offlane hero. But in terms of Beastmaster, seeing that firsthand at Dota Pit, a few teams picked him and they kind of just destroyed with him. Level 4 Call of the Wild is pretty damn strong to the point where it was almost broken, which they changed a little bit. I think they reduced the boar damage, I believe, is what they did for Call of the Wild. So makes sense they changed that. But still, even with the boar damage reduction, you still have a lot of damage coming in from whatever other creep you get. Centaur, I mean, it doesn't really matter. Whatever you get is going to be good. But they will now have to play up against the Nature's Prophet, which can be kind of frustrating. Changes the way you play the game of Dota in terms of having to run around the map, try to find this Nature's Prophet, try to stop him from split pushing perhaps. Just an overall good offlane hero for VG.J.Thunder, and I think a way better start to this draft than they had with the first overall pick, Death Prophet, in game 1, which we talked about.
Yeah, this draft, this hero pool is really interesting to me in the sense that the AoE teamfight options, I think, are actually pretty garbage in general. Like, or there's very little of it. There's kind of a Centaur, there's a Slardar, maybe make an argument for Tree. There was a Puck, but it's been banned. And other than that, it's a lot of really single target focused heroes and some split pushers thrown in there as well. So not too surprising to me to see, the Beastmaster picked up and the Nature's Prophet, for example, but I think it makes it more difficult for VG.J because Newbie show this Beastmaster. I think it's not 100% obvious, but it's a nice way to start out a potential like 5-man oriented draft. And then I don't know how VG.J respond because they can't put together enough team fight to necessarily deal with 5-man in that way. So they might have to go for the split push avenue, which is picking up this Nature's Prophet.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, that is just that question essentially. I want to point out. Oh God.
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
The Tinker. No, they had to. They had.
Yeah, you're right.
Choice,
right. The Beastmaster.
There's no way that.
Exactly. You're right. I know what you're saying. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. There's absolutely no way that they can let them have Tinker here, right? It's so good against NP. It's so good against Terrorblade. It's so good with Beastmaster. So they had to pick it themselves. Yeah, that's it.
Maybe they go Arc Warden instead and do maybe some more shenanigans with the Tempest Double.
Oh, man.
That would be real disgusting. That would if Arc Warden comes out within the next 2 picks here, I'll probably end up vomiting because that'll be the most disgusting draft I've ever seen in my entire life. Arc Warden versus Tinker Terribly Nature's Prophet. Yeah, real great stuff there, guys.
I don't know how you push into Tree Arc Warden. That sounds
miserable.
That sounds real miserable. Yeah.
I want to say there is a gyrocopter, which I think is pretty good against Terrorblade Nature's Prophet. I would say I don't know how good it is against the Terrorblade and Tinker, but like I've seen a lot of Immortals picked it like 3 times the past 2 days. They put it mid a lot of the time, and I think it's pretty solid. And obviously against like illusions and all that kind of stuff, it's pretty good. But they'll pick Nyx for now.
All the heroes are melee, Travis. This is captain's draft.
All right.
This is captain's draft for you.
It sure is. I mean, what? So what do they still need, right? They need. Wait, what are these heroes as a core?
What are the roles?
What are the roles here? What's happening? Is this like a core slaughter? I just saw a 4-ev core treant protector, so that's maybe a thing. All right, let's just say the PA is in the safe lane or the mid lane. I'm not. I have no idea. But Beastmaster off lane. Oh God, that would be sick against Tinker. You just spam mana burn.
Or Beastmaster mid. I think either of those could do okay. Beastmaster, you can still CS a little bit with your boar, even if you get lasered. So it's not a completely ridiculous lane. That's the other matchup that we haven't talked about here, is that they've picked the Tinker into the Beastmaster. So they're going to have flying vision to scout him out. They've got the roar to potentially lock him down. And VG.J, yeah, why not?
I love this game. This is my favorite game I've ever seen. This went from like the worst game to like the best game ever.
I am so looking forward to the captain's draft LAN.
Oh, it's gonna be great.
It's gonna be so good. It's really interesting to me. Like, I was even thinking about this in between the games. I don't know how clear it is in terms, like, if you win the flip, right? What do you take? I think for conventional captain's mode Dota, you've played enough. You kind of know what your side preference is, and then maybe you have a pick preference in overall, in terms of the current patch, depending on how many OP heroes there are and stuff like that, and what your priorities are. But for captain's draft, I don't know if it's so reliable to like take first pick, right?
I agree.
Maybe there isn't a first pick worthy hero. So maybe you want the combo pick.
I think second pick is good, and just having last pick in general in a game mode like this, I think it does a lot for you.
Yeah.
But I will say, you were right on the money. It is the Nyx mid. It is going to be support Treant with support Slardar and Beastmaster for KP. So the support Nyx Assassin, obviously, mana burn always good against somebody like a Tinker, but I don't know. It's not a hero we've seen in the mid lane in maybe years. I can't think of one off the top of my head, a mid Nyx Assassin that's happened that I've cast or I've watched. So I'm curious as to how it's going to go. I don't know. This is weird. This is a weird draft.
I just want him to buy Dagon. I think he can actually, like, the TB, the Tinker, and the Nature's Prophet. I think if he goes like the Dagon nuke build, he could this is like old school Nyx Assassin stuff. I think he can actually just solo kill any of them. I'm kind of hoping that's what he goes for.
That would be super hype, by the way.
Yeah,
I'm ready for that.
Another thing about my captain's draft rant is I'm actually just excited to see. I feel like the captain's draft meta might evolve pretty quickly. Like, obviously there won't be that many games played overall. Sorry. Over the course of this like total tournament, but still I feel like the teams, because there's qualifying points on the line and there's money on the line, teams are going to take it pretty seriously. And so we might see some teams really sit down and brainstorm and try and figure out, like, okay, do we want first pick? Do we want second pick? Do we think Radiant's better? Do we think Dire's better? I think some teams will come up with particular ideas, and then we'll really see those tested as we continue to get further and further into this event. So it's going to be really interesting to watch.
All right, well, you hear that, coaches. You hear how important this is going to be, captain's draft. I mean, you're right. There are qualifying points on the line. It's something you have to definitely consider and just think about. And there are natural advantages in captain's draft if you can find them. Just, like, interesting little tidbits there. And Faith is going to run into Fade here. And they're literally just standing right next to each other. Fade has no idea, of course. That's pretty funny.
Could block the Pudge in if he really wanted to, but I don't think he has any interest in doing so.
Right.
You got Tangos anyway. Be fine.
I mean, I really want Triple C to do well here. I think Newbie can still win this game somehow. I mean, it's not like they have that bad of a draft. They have a Beastmaster, for God's sakes. I'm just concerned about this.
This is a side lane Tinker. What is going on?
All right,
like, well, we gotta dodge this Nyx Assassin. Let's put the Terrorblade mid.
Now Triple C's miserable. Now he's like, oh great, now I have to deal with meta for a while. He went in pay level 1 still, but yeah, I don't know how this goes in the mid lane. I thought it was gonna be against the Tinker. I literally just saw him go top, so
I don't know if anybody knows how this well, you can make an educated guess on how this lane matchup is going to go, but I don't know if this lane matchup has ever really been played in competitive Dota before.
Maybe in 2K. I don't think it's been played anywhere else.
Yeah, so I think TBs can do just fine. Gets a pretty good farm. Nyx Assassin's got good regen, so he shouldn't really get completely forced out of the lane. I think he's actually pretty decent.
That's true. Situation. He does have high regen. He doesn't really have to use these tangos or anything like that. And now that meta's done, maybe things get more interesting. They get a bit better for him, perhaps, in terms of harassing and being able to last hit. But he even has a Quelling Blade, too. It's something we'll keep in mind. Fade getting jumped on, Slithering Crush. They have the Wild Axes. There's that damage amp, baby. The boar's slow. They won't dive him under the tower. He won't have to rot to kill himself. He's just a little too far away. And Newbie will back themselves up. Now Faith getting chased down. AO. Plenty of damage from Yang. The Treant blocks. Really nice. The Ignite is up, but he's got Nature's Guise. And it's still first blood for Yang. They had a Sentry. Nicely done, VG.J. And that was some great blocking from Yang. The Treant. But he was slowed up enough anyways that it wasn't a big deal. So.
Yeah, very nice. Pretty classic Nature's Prophet stuff, right? This hero just has so much damage now at level 1. And looks like Ogre is going to be the one to snipe both of these bouncy runes up here. So nice little grab for him. Bottom lane, some pressure on KP, but actually going to get hooked back here.
I think he's still fine. In fact, he's going to turn around and throw up the Wild Axes. Kaka, he's got sprint in 1. Good slow from the Rot. Now the Slithering Crush just to make sure KP's going to be fine. He has also the Living Armor. Heat-seeking missiles will go and do some damage, but KP has a salve ready to go, and that's absolutely A-okay. You can just use it real quick and get back to harassing this bottom lane. He's doing a pretty good job of it, too.
The Nyx Assassin has gone for Bottle here on the mid lane. I mean, it's a weird thing to bring up, but in the previous game, neither of the two mid players actually went for a Bottle. They both just got 2 null talismans really quickly, finished up a wand, and then ferried a bunch of clarities. Bottle does definitely feel a lot weaker for mid lane overall now. The bounties,
I got it.
Get brought down if you're top.
Don't worry, I got it, buddy. Meanwhile, bottom Kaka's up. Oh, no, Kama. All right, we got both of them. We're fine.
Nice.
The camera work is in. We're dialed in, folks. But yeah, that is weird. Not getting bottle on both the mid laners. SCCC also having a bottle. It's not like... I guess you kind of need it for the Nyx Assassin. You have no real way of mana regen. You need your Impale. I wonder if he's going to leave at level 6. I mean, usually in like a pub game, that's when you would see a Nyx Assassin leave. You see, okay, Vendetta's up, ping that he's missing. You know, he's going to rotate somewhere and try to go for a kill. Does the same thing happen in a pro game? Because we don't really know what a Nyx Assassin does in a pro game when he's in the mid lane. We don't really see it that often. Meanwhile, top lane, Slithering Crush. Yang's going to be in trouble. He has the Bloodlust, will not really help him in terms of doing more damage. He dies shortly thereafter. And that will be a nice little rotation from Kaka in that top lane. Making sure they don't lose Faith, because he's died twice already on this Treant Protector. Maybe things will be a bit tough for him in this top lane for now.
Yeah, the tricky thing for Nyx this game, or for SCCC, is that if he leaves the lane, I think he loses his tower instantly, right? Like, the Terra Blade just pops meta and immediately gets rid of it. So if he wants to make that level 6 rotation... It is going to be tough. Maybe he'll try and get somebody to rotate to his lane, and they kill the Terrorblade instead. Unfortunately, they don't really have much pushing power to follow up after that, unless they maybe rotate the Beastmaster over. But as I say that, SCC is actually still hanging around down here at bottom, and they want this Fade kill.
There's going to be the hook. Good Fairy Fire. The heat-seeking missiles and laser almost bringing KP down. He's fine for now. He's got the Living Armor. Fade's still getting chased. Won't be able to get the denial off with the Rot still going. And now Kama's getting chased down. SCCC bottling up. Not enough mana for another Impale. A lot of auto attack damage being dealt. Kama finally gets the boar kill, but, I mean, it's kind of over now. Meanwhile, top lane, AO getting chased. Kaka is able to sprint away. He's getting lower and lower, but the Ignite is now done. He's fine. Faith also getting chased. He might get turned on and killed again. He's just narrowly going to survive. It looks like the Treants are going to get blocked by the creep wave. He will use the Nature's Guise. They won't dive the tier 1 tower. And a lot of action happening, but no real kills other than bottom lane.
Lots of pressure. I mean, I think part of that is that we have so many melee heroes in this game. People are just trying to break these lanes a little bit. There's lots of harassment happening. KP's actually heading over towards the mid lane. So it looks like he's going to be taking that over for a second as they do kind of get this Nyx Assassin versus Tinker matchup for a bit. We'll see how that works out. Maybe they can put some pressure on the Tinker and slow down his farm a bit.
Well, the Nyx doesn't have any mana still. He's been out of it for a while. He's trying to get an Aquila, too.
Yeah, he wants those 6-minute bouncy runes really badly, but they're just going to get run down here,
he's
probably.
Dead. Spike Carapace isn't really going to help him too much. Meanwhile, Yang gets a kill top lane, or mid lane, excuse me. Damn it. All right, well, maybe they could save him. There's the heat-seeking missiles. Nope. And Kaka will get a Slithering Crush off onto Fade, but that's it. Fade's really slow. He actually doesn't have boots on him, but he's fine either way. By the way, the push is coming out. This is what you were talking about. As Triple C leaves mid, and it's not even him that needs to be there. They just need to have somebody there. But this tower's pretty much dead at this point. It's just gone.
Yeah, Terrorblade plus Nature's Prophet, two of the best early pushing heroes in the game. Don't really need to have any items to do this kind of thing. SCCC gonna try for the deny there.
Getting fire blasted. He's in trouble. Spike Carapace comes out. He has bottle charges to work with on top of it. Living Armor will help. Oh, the lag. Oh, no, my internet. Oh, fuck. All right, we should be back. We're back. I don't know what happened, but we definitely just lagged super hard.
Yeah, 3-man crush. Thunder's coming through.
All right,
That
2 kills.
Survives. And they get that was almost a really nice turnaround from Newbie, but...
Okay, we're back. We fixed it. Somebody's downloading something, I'm sure of it, upstairs. And, well, that sucks. We missed those. We got the end of the 2 kills. That's all that matters.
Stop all the downloading.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, that's 2 quick kills. Mugi's still farming pretty well top of the net worth for his team, but again, I mean, VG.J.Thunder has such good split push. They have good push in general. They have a slight advantage now of 2K. They've taken down the tier 1 tower in the mid lane. It's all going pretty well, I would say, and this mid Nyx hasn't really accomplished much yet. He's almost level 6 finally, but things are still a bit worrisome if you're newbie at this point in the game.
Yeah, it's not even a... I mean, this isn't even a...
Come on, dude.
Action top.
Yeah, I'm still lagging for some reason. And Mugi's getting chased down, a couple of auto attacks. Sprout is up, he's in trouble, fire blasted down, he's done. Dead for 15. That'll do it. Nice pickup there. I thought he might have been able to get away with the Quelling Blade, but nope, they all were ready to go. Alright, I'm going to try to figure out what this internet issue is.
Okay. Well, biggest kill that they could have gotten. They spot out Faith here, battle for the bounty runes. I don't know if anyone's going to die, or maybe Faith. Has a while to go invis.
Wow, how did that hook miss? That looked like it was right on point.
Missed.
The dust comes out. Faith going for the TP. He will make it out. Nicely done. AO was not there in time for the fire blast. Very close, but he's able to TP away somehow.
There's still constant pressure on all of Newbie's towers. This Nature's Prophet, super annoying. And Newbie, they do have SCCC on the prowl, heading up towards top. But can they actually hold onto this tier 1 tower is the question. And looking perhaps a little bit doubtful. Yang just laying in with the right clicks, especially with the Bloodlust. They have Kaka also rotating.
They have the Vendetta Nyx coming in. They have a sentry, but it's pretty far behind. Yang is going into the tree line. Good Sprout. They need a Slithering Crush. Kaka just misses it. Wow. SCCC should have just gone for the Impale, I think. They still might find AO. They have a Hawk to chase him down. Stifling Dagger. This is not the kill they want, but they're going to settle for it. They even get a crit coming in. Wild Axes. One more auto attack. That'll finish them off. But the thing is, they've rotated like all of these heroes up for this. And in the meantime, this Terrorblade and Tigger are still just farming and pushing bottom.
Yep, and Yang's immediately over at mid. He'll shove that out a little bit. Very nice mind games with the Sprout. Not actually hiding inside, just TPing a little bit above it. SCC gonna try and hold on to this den here. Is opting for a Midas on his next assassin as he now gets run down.
Yeah. He might get killed. Fade is actually getting turned on by Mugi. Somehow Nyx stays alive. Wild Axes. Another Stifling Dagger. That'll bring him down. Well done there. Somehow they keep SCCC alive. He's gonna Vendetta. He has no mana for an Impale, but he would like to get it off. Now they'll chase after the Terrorblade. I think he has the Sunder, so they need to be careful. They can't really do anything without a Roar, I think, if the Terrorblade has Sunder up. So.
And even then, it might be a little bit dicey. A lot of their damage, for the time being, is physical, like the Vendetta, axes, PA right clicks, and TB does have pretty sick armor, so be just a little bit careful. They're getting jumped.
Pale. This could be good. Slithering Crush. Excellent overlapping of the stuns, or rather non-overlapping. That's huge. Another kill. I mean, they're doing okay. They're staying in it for now. I don't know what else they can do in order to find farm, and because they're just gonna get splitted, like split the map up, get pushed down, perhaps.
I mean, they have good catch. They have the Treant Protector to try and heal their buildings back up a little bit later on, so the chip damage is gonna mean a bit less. But In terms of going late with their lineup, I'm not actually sure. I feel like once they get to the point where the PA BKB is going to be an amazing timing for newbie, but once they get past that, that's where the Tinker gets really scary again. They do have the tools to lock him down if they can catch him, but you know, it might be difficult to find him.
I like this play, though. Oh, that's Triple C, I believe, is being scouted by a ward. Nope, maybe not. He's actually just completely out of vision. So they'll lose the tier 1 tower, but this is a very good trade. Although KP's getting bashed up, he's actually getting really low. They will still get Aegis. They will be able to get out together as a team, and they will be able to move from there. And that is Aegis on Mugi. And so they've gotten a little bit more gold. They've bought themselves some time. And we'll slow things down here a little bit, it looks like.
Yeah, do still needs to try and keep the pick-off pressure up if possible. Kaka's still about 1k away from his blink, a little bit over 1k. But once they have that, I think that helps their pick-off situation quite a bit. They're showing the Nyx Assassin at bottom at the moment, but they are keeping, well, in theory, keeping KP off the map, but they do spot him on this Radiant Observer ward, so should know that there isn't too much kill threat coming in at this exact moment, and VG.J gonna grab a little bit more farm in the interim. There's some items coming up. Okay, we got Dragonlance on the Terrorblade.
Right.
We got some BOTs for the Tinker. Getting their kind of their core items going.
And these BOTs are going to be very important. No blink yet, though, so we can't really get into the trees and stuff like that. Something to keep in mind. But we'll keep our eyes. Meanwhile, top lane, they found Yang. And that Tinker ward is going to pay off. Might get dewarded, though. Sprout. Oh, nope, not going to make it out. Good Quelling Blade usage from the PA, and he's going to get himself closer to the Battle Fury that he's building into.
Yeah, the one thing I will say for VG.Thunder's lineup here is that they have absolutely no front line at all. Like, every single one of their heroes, I think, can quite easily be bursted by newbies, and their only real save is like a punch hook, which feels a little bit unreliable. So, if they fall behind, could be tough.
Gamma had dust. That actually is going to kill us Triple C. Not even, well, he used the Vendetta hit already.
Vendetta was, yeah.
So it doesn't even matter. We'll say the 10% slow killed him. How's that sound? That's what did it.
He wasn't even invis, so I guess he knew that he couldn't run away.
He's fine.
So.
It's an easy kill there for VGJ.Thunder. I don't know. Triple C was down there just to farm, I think. I'm not sure what else he was doing.
Scouting the Tinker, maybe asking if anybody else could come over and help out. And VG.J gonna set up a siege. Once they lay down the march, it is going to be a little bit difficult to initiate into them. And that's the one thing, I guess, to say is that while they don't have much of a front line, they still have good area control when it comes to a fight. If they're set up, and they've got the Terrorblade with a big stack of illusions, and they've got the march getting laid down on top of it, it is still pretty difficult for newbie to initiate into that. Just kind of tough to get the blinks off around the march and whatnot.
Yeah, and that's before they even have the blinks. Oh, good hook.
Nice hook.
Mugi is in a lot of trouble. They're looking for a Slithering Crush. Oh, Kaka just missed it. That's a problem. Mugi might lose the Aegis. Kaka on the run. Good Phantom Strike away. Now the Overgrowth might keep Mugi alive. Salar's going to TP in another hook. Almost gets him. The Tickler. Mugi's going to be able to sidestep it just narrowly. Leech Seed is healing him up the Living Armor, rather. Keeping him alive. Phantom Strikes again to a different direction. Heat-seeking Missiles flying in. That should hit on Mugi. I don't know if it's going to be enough for the Aegis. It won't be. But they still might find Faith. Now he's ran out of there as well. How did they all survive? What the hell? Okay.
Very nice play from Faith. Comes in, drops the Overgrowth, gives another juke opportunity to the PA to be able to blink strike away. Very nice coordination. And, oh, maybe they're not done. If they got this Aegis, they're keen to fight. This Nature's Prophet's going to die quickly.
Yeah, Yang is getting jumped on. Quelling Blade TP. He's got a Slithering Crush, and this time Yang again will not make it away. Corrosive Haze along with the PA is a very good combination, and they're looking for more. Salar's in the tree line, no TP for 30 seconds. I'm not sure they know that. He's eating his way through. Kaka's still sprinting after him. And he really wants this kill. Mugi, in the meantime, finds another kill, and they're looking for more even. That's actually going to be the Tinker drops down. I think the Tinker ward comes in handy again. Ayo is going to get dropped next. There's going to be a double for Mugi. Luckily, Silo will make it out, but all of a sudden...
I mean, he's still just burrowing his way into the trees.
Dude, this guy is on the run. He's a fugitive from the law, and right now, Kaka, he's the lawman. He's Tommy Lee Jones here, and he's just looking for somebody, but... KP gets the tier 1 tower in the meantime, and now Fade chasing him down. Ying will pop the drum charge. Do they have any lockdown? Just hook, and it misses. KP again sidestepping. Sprout also not there in time. And they got to dismember, but that's on a boar. He was chasing him the entire time. He was still chasing him.
he was following the path in the trees. He's like, where is he? Where is he? And then he must have shown on the map somewhere else. It's like, oh, he's not here anymore.
I'm not sure who that's more miserable for. Salar wastes like 2 minutes from like instead of farming, and the Kakas is there the entire time. That's actually hilarious. He was just still chasing him.
We're the real winners in the end.
True.
Nope.
Oh,
Newbie?
Kaka's fine.
Kaka just gonna walk away.
Yeah.
Apparently.
SCC is also out of there. They don't have any vision to see him. And I mean, seemingly out of nowhere, my friend, there is now a 2K lead for Newbie. I mean, that's I guess what happens when you fight into an Aegis PA.
Yeah, they got 4 kills in very quickly in a row. I think we're also starting to see that VG.J's catch isn't that great either. Got good deep push, got some good push, but not a whole lot of catch really. So Newbie have been able to play quite aggressively, and it means that they're heroes that
Kama.
Look at this.
That's
damage.
so much, especially when the wild axes come out, the damage amp, and that's Necro 1 with a medallion. It actually destroys him. Yeah, they'll lose the tier 1 tower top lane. I don't really think KP is too concerned about that, considering he also might get this tier 1 bottom, or at least put some pressure on it. Man, that was some serious damage though. Holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, even just the Beastmaster right clicks were chunking him, but I guess that's they've also got he's got the Alpha Wolf in the stack, so everything is just hitting so hard. He's pushing extremely quickly, just all by himself. And
Call of the Wild Man.
What an ability.
Yeah, it's pretty good. He's up to 1,300 gold. I wonder if he goes Solar Crest next. Do they need to? I don't know what item, or you finish your Necro, or like, I mean, what do you do here?
I'd like to see the Necro continue to get upgraded. I don't really see any reason not to. They don't necessarily need the Purge, but it is potentially helpful for removing a Bloodlust or something like that.
Right.
Or, you know, if Tinker decides that he needs a Ghost a little bit later on to save himself against the PA, something like that, would be good to have the Purge online.
I'm not sure who it was, but earlier on in Dota Pit, like I think day 1 or 2, somebody built like level 1 Necro, like Medallion, and then they built something else. I'm not sure.
They might have Shadowblade could still be good.
That's what I was thinking. Well. Yang, ooh, just got out. Kaka almost spotted him, Slithering Crush down in time. He'll place a ward down in the meantime, though. And I would be surprised if this stays up for that long. Because, again, they died to it twice.
You don't have Blink. He's looking for you.
He just is going to make it out. KP just doesn't have the movement speed in order to catch him. Very close, though. And this Tinker, the Hawk is actually so good in this game just because of the Tinker. Like, even if they don't have these big wards. Meanwhile, Fade might be looking to find SCC. He gets off the hook. Spike Carapace will go. Another TP in from Yang, who's going to have the sprout, but there's a Quelling Blade. And now it's time to run, because like you mentioned, there's not that good catch. Faith will get off the Overgrowth. There's the Living Armor. There's no follow-up, actually. I thought there were more heroes for Newbie up top, but that's actually not the case. Faith will get hooked this time. He'll probably fall finally. Marks the Machines and Laser will do the job for Kama, who rotates up. Now Kaka's going to be next. Maybe. Sprints himself away. Just kidding. He's in the river. See ya. He's a race car. Classic.
Oh, I love watching Slaughter in the river. It's great.
That's pretty great. Roar on top or bottom lane. They're baiting this out, kind of. Axis coming in. They really want Yang. He's in trouble. Solar Crest wasn't used. No, it was. Medallion popped up on him. Yang still getting chased down. KP went in too deep. He forces so many rotations. This was clearly a bait that VG.J were ready for, and KP is going to give his life for it. But he does at least rotate everybody on the map down towards bottom, and now Newbie are going to do the same thing. They're smoked up. They have a DD on Mugi, and I don't see why not fighting. I think you kill just about everybody if you take an engagement. Fade's dead, I'm pretty sure. He's looking for more. I don't think he just wants Fade. Now you have to run. He dies instantly. You need to, like, go instantly. Even if you're under the tower, maybe not. Salar's here. Oh, my God. That Stifling Dagger just did 1,000 damage.
If you just daggered the Tinker, I think the Tinker may have...
Just died?
May have instantly died, yeah.
Well, unfortunately, they found a Pudge first, which means... they only get the Pudge. But,
pretty low value kill, unfortunately.
Man, I gotta say, Newbie are starting to look really good. They now also have an Aghanim Scepter, by the way, in the next Assassin, which is kind of crazy. 20-minute Ags is not something you usually see on this hero. But, of course, this is not, you know, we don't usually see mid-Nyx Assassins, so something to keep in mind.
Yeah, and I think SCCC has just kind of been farming as well. It's mostly been the supports and the Beastmaster running around looking for pickoffs. He's just built this Midas, been hitting creeps, refilling his bottle.
Oh, Mugi. Oh, my God. Oh, he's going to do it. I think he's dead.
Can they find him? Yes.
See ya. There's that Tinker ward. That's going to get dewarded. They pinged it immediately, by the way. The Tinker pinged it. Meanwhile, SCC might be in trouble. That burrow I don't think is going to save you. They even dismember him. So, good work getting that kill, SCC, but you're going to have to trade your life away for that of the Tinker.
And in the meantime, Nubi can take this as an opportunity to shove some lanes and then head over into Roche, which is an insanely fast Roche because they have, and this is even without the medallion, this is just the PA talent along with the Starter Amp and the Deso.
Yeah, this is just 2 heroes doing it too. So he's going to get the Aegis and Shields because right now PA is essentially the one hero that they can't deal with. If like, especially when he gets BKB, then it's almost an impossibility. Other than like, I don't know, the Terrorblade just owning him. But I don't know. This is starting to look a bit concerning if you're VG.Thunder at this point in the game.
Yeah, TV doesn't have meta for 80 seconds, so can't really threaten bottom that heavily. And Mugi's kind of locking into his timing here. He's got the BKB queued up, which to me is the big signal from Newbie that they are looking to go very soon. They've also got the Ags for the Nyx Assassin. I mean, a lot of people talk about it as a high ground defense item, but I think it's also a really good sieging item. Unfortunately, he doesn't have a Force Staff or a Blink or anything to go with it, but still, just being able to sit down on the low ground, a little bit behind your PA, while she goes up onto the high ground and be ready to lob out a super long range stun if she gets hooked and then dismembered or something like that is going to be very powerful.
VG.J smoked up. Beastmaster also on the run from Yang, who has a Shadow Blade now. And they're going to... Oh, all right. Well, they found mid. Oops. I was looking top, but now they got the kill mid. Now they're going to look for more top lane, actually. You can see Kaka looking for Fade, perhaps. I think he saw him, but he won't go any further. They're going to look for the tier 2 tower instead. Now they have a 7k lead. Ooh, Terrorblade might be dead here. There's the amp damage. And he's just going to Manta it off. Doesn't want to deal with that. All right, 7k lead. And all of a sudden, with a Tinker, a Nature's Prophet, and a Terrorblade, they're keeping the waves pushed in pretty damn well here on Newbie's side.
Yeah, I mean, they picked this Tink. I feel like this game, maybe VG.J.Thunder outsmarted themselves again. Because they're like, they looked at the Terrorblade, they thought it was a good hero, but then they also felt like they had to take the Tinker because it was in the pool, and they didn't want Newbie to have it along with the Beastmaster. And so, as a result, they ended up with the Tinker with no catch. It's another... I don't know if the last lineup was that unbalanced, but this lineup feels really unbalanced in the sense that they've got so much split push, but no catch, no team fight,
no initiation, pretty much, other than hook.
Yeah. Yeah. And Tinker's so hard to play in this kind of situation because a lot of your snowballing as a hero is relying on somebody else setting up for you, and then you come in, clean up the kill, go straight back to farming. That's how you see these ridiculous Tinker games where he's top of net worth and gets an Ags and then just becomes an absolute monster. But not really the case this game. Pretty middling net worth. This team is having to just shove lanes all the time and doesn't even feel that safe because the Hawk is scouting for him, the Nyx is scouting for him.
Yeah, even if they didn't have the side wards, that'd still be a tough game for him for sure.
Yeah, the thing I like the most about Newbie's lineup is that they just picked all the stuns. I think that might be a captain's strat.
Kaka is dead instantly. Very good hook there. They even dust up SCC. He blinks out just in time. Makes it away. Mugi's also on the run. He is in trouble. Heat-seeking missiles flying. They've got the defusal slow, I believe, and they do. And Mugi's going to lose this Aegis, perhaps his life as well. This is a giant kill if VG.Thunder can get it. And he's going to pop BKB. He has no TP. He's looking for Yang. Gets the crit off. Now still can't quite get this kill. One more auto attack. He's going to find it. Can he get anything else? Kama's in the tree line here. That would be a nice target to go for. He's got the evasion to work with him. The blur helping out. But there's the dismember coming in. And SCC will set himself up with a burrow, but he's underneath the sentry, and he's going to lose his life as well. Spike Carapace, but here comes KP. The Roar is coming out. Sylar in some potential trouble. SCC eats the cheese now. They're looking for a Sunder. His mana burned up, and he's in trouble. Impaled down. They've got the overgrowth. They're turning it. KP gets a double kill. Ayo will fall. Heat-seeking missiles are flying, but he's the only survivor is Kama, and he has to get out of there immediately. And even without Mugi, their big damage dealer, KP comes in, and they absolutely destroy him. That mana burn making it so that the Sunder came in, and then, of course, like you mentioned, the Centaur Conquer Stomp was beautiful. Woo!
Open the fight recap because you look at the Nyx Assassin. He got 4 mana burns off in that fight, and the Mana Burn from the Necrobook plus the Mana Burn from the Nyx Assassin on the Terrorblade, along with that perfectly microed Centaur Stomp. Like KP pulled his hero back, and then right as the stun wore off from the roar, dropped the Centaur Stomp right on top of him. TB could do absolutely nothing, and even with the PA dead, they got such an amazing turnaround there.
And PA not getting involved, so not getting all that gold, not that she really needs it. She's still in that top of the net worth by 2K in terms of farm. But yeah, at this point, newbie, the fact that you could take that fight, I think it was 4 versus 5 for the most part. I don't know if everybody was there for VG.J.Thunder. I think they were, right? They all TP'd in, they all rotated. So the fact that they win that fight 5 versus 4 is pretty impressive.
Fade's dead.
Yeah, see ya. That's just an easy kill.
Getting jumped down. The one thing that I will say that's nice for them is that they managed to... Oh.
Yeah, this is a dead Nature's Prophet as well. He's going to sprout Shadow Blade. Ooh, now he's dead. The Stifling Dagger comes in, not even needed. Anyways, you were saying?
So the one thing that was nice for VG.J.Thunder there is that they managed to pop the Aegis and the Cheese away from their base. So they didn't give newbie an opportunity to high ground with that. And it was the 10-second BKB charge also expended. So as much as things got turned around on them, a fight that looked really good for them after they get kind of the freebies from PA gets turned around. Still, I think, overall fairly value, though they are continuing to fall behind. If they can get some more net worth on the Tinker and they can survive until the PA BKB runs down a little bit more, I think they are in with somewhat of a chance, but obviously still looking great for newbie.
I mean, they've got an 11k lead. They're trying to split push. Now there's a Dagon up for the Tinker. He has a Kaya also, which is really good. 10% spell amplification. The mana cost and mana loss reduction is really good. Obviously, it's one of the reasons why Kaya is very strong. Aosin said he thought this item would be nerfed. That's how good it is in the next patch. I actually haven't seen it that much because it wasn't picked really, or rather picked up at Dota Pit Miner. So I don't know. I mean, it seems pretty good, I guess.
It seems quite strong. I guess the one thing that's kind of balancing it out a bit is that it's not super slot efficient, right? It's cheap, but I feel like I've seen a lot of people also build it and then end up replacing it a little bit later on. Like the spell amp and the mana cost and mana loss reduction are obviously very strong conceptually, but I guess the numbers also aren't that crazy to the point where you're going to keep like a Kaya over, let's say, building like a Shiva's or something. Right. I guess that's kind of balancing it a little bit more. But I agree with you. It is definitely very strong and the least gimmicky of all the items that we got in this patch. Like you look at Eon Disc versus Kaya, and Kaya's a much more, I think, a much less situational item.
Yeah, agreed. But there are those situations where Eon Disc is just... there was a game earlier, Optic versus Immortals, and there was like an Enigma, and he built Eon Disc against this Sven, and this Sven jumped in, Stormhammered him, and went with the God Strength and Mask Madness, and the Eon Disc popped.
And he just laughed.
Exactly, yeah, the Eon Disc popped, and he was just like, see ya, I'm out of here. Just ran away. I guess it's just Sven in general has a tough time against items like those where you just get kited like crazy, or you can't blow somebody away in one, go over Stormhammer or something like that. But anyway, I'm rambling now. I don't think it's that important. But
we're gonna keep the extended patch analysis going for like a month after the.
Yeah.
Oh, Yang.
He is.
Thawed out.
See ya. Maybe. Probably. Yep. Phantom Strike attack speed's pretty good. They do have the hook, Mugi. Uh-oh, he's in a lot of trouble, actually forced away. He has BKB, he's going to go for it. He's trying to fight, and he's owning at this point. He's got the 20% lifesteal. The Slurry Crush will come out. Fade is going to get dropped. Mugi's on a rampage pretty much. A double kill for him. He's looking for a third. Can he get it? Yes, he can. Now can he get the Ultra? He won't get it. It will go instead of SCCC, but they have to buy back the Tinker. But it's all 5 dead at this point. Mugi just turns it on and turns it around. This feels like what the PA we saw from Mugi against Virtus Pro in that Best of 1 series at Dota Pit. And he is just styling, looking for more and more damage, looking for more and more kills, and now looking for a tier 3 tower potentially.
He was on a sliver of health, but realizing that they had absolutely nothing that they could do against this BKB. I mean, Tinker spamming for dear life, but looking like this should be full lane of Rax cleaned up.
Yeah, he's doing the best that he can. But now that the Nature's Prophet is up, he's going to try to push mid, realizing he can't defend bottom. Rax will stay alive, at least the melee, or rather the range Rax, excuse me, are still up and ready, but they've lost some important buildings, and Newbie are essentially one team fight away from winning this game. Especially the fact that Roche is up in a minute 30 is also another important factor. But yeah, I mean, this feels rough. Now they have eyes in the forest too.
VG Tinker, basically. Like what does? I don't know what he does at this point. There's nobody to hide behind. Oh, they're gonna catch a couple here in mid.
Dismember? Good impale onto 2 from SCCC, although they might kill him. And dusted up, and he is just donezo. They will get a kill top lane, I believe, on the Tinker. I think Mugi came in and traded for Kaka as he was man fighting. They also got the ranged Rax bottom. I think just the siege creep did it. All right. They're staying in it for now. I mean, like you said, though, eyes in the forest, GG Tinker, pretty much. They drop a sentry right next to it, so they'll probably be able to take this out. But once Tree Protector starts just moving around the map, there's going to be a lot of vision placed on these trees.
Yeah, it's just, I think eventually, you know, Newbie get enough vision up from Eyes in the Forest. They get some more wards down as well. They have pretty much complete information on how VG.J are moving. And then again, VG.J have this ult.
Well, Yang.
That damage.
Dude, I only saw like the later ends of that, and like he was already pretty much dead by the time I heard the roar.
Yeah, I mean, he took the Wild Axis damage talent as well. That really chunked him.
And that used to be stronger too. That used to be 120 instead of 100, which is, by the way, even more crazy. But at this point, 100 versus 120 is not really that big of a difference when you're killing people within seconds. Not even seconds, milliseconds. All right. And
Rush on
go.
number 3.
Or who's going to get the refresher shard?
Oh my god, it dies so... Look at these crits.
Yeah, Mugi zoning. Who gets it?
They're just gonna...
Leave it there.
Just gonna leave it?
Yeah, you don't need it, guys. Come on.
Yeah. Nope. I mean, it's pretty... Not too bad with the tree.
It's, yeah, double roar, I think, is fine. Or double
you could
everything.
Also just give it to... You could give it to the PA as well, if you really wanted to.
Double book, question mark? Hello? Does it work? No, probably not.
No. I think it just replaces it. But still worth it because the duration is obviously still much lower than the cooldown.
Exactly. Still double roar will be nice. They're gonna try to work on top now, it seems. And all of a sudden, this like triangle area of camps is been eyed. The trees are watching you, VG.J.Thunder.
Yeah, I mean,
straight out of Game of Thrones.
You know, before Newbie had this whole part of the map, now they have this part of the map as well, and you know, maybe eventually they'll take this part of the map, and then it's just VG.J.Thunder have nothing left. They'll take the few creeps that arrive at their doorstep, but that's about it.
There's no threatening of these tier 3 towers from the Tinker. They're trying to finally get these wards out. Reflection will go. Actually, crits Mugi. It actually does so much damage. He just crit himself twice with the reflection, but now Sylar getting pushed back. There's the BKB. Overgrowth will come in. And Pale will also hit with Roar. Oh, all right. See you, Fade. I think there was a punch there. Yang also almost dies. He's going to go for the TP. He will make it out. Force, Slithering Crest. They actually got the kill with the Stifling Dagger. Kaka in trouble. Mugi man fighting in the meantime. Another Roar coming in. That's the Refresher Shard and a dead Sylar for 60 seconds. And that'll do it. GG is called, and VG.J.Thunder now down to the lower bracket. And as expected, Newbie move on, looking absolutely premium in these games here, Cameron.
Yeah. Newbie looking like an unquestionably tier 1 team, right? And VG.J, I think, maybe tripping up a little bit in terms of the captain's draft format, maybe outsmarting themselves somewhat in terms of the drafts, but even then, Newbie just seemed like they're playing so much better. The coordination is really good. All the individual play is super crisp. So no big surprise at all to see them take this series 2-0.
Yeah, really good stuff. Not much else to touch on. Hopefully VG.J.Thunder can get back into it. Obviously, a really solid roster, really good team. Sylar's on top of it. They just need to get something going in terms of the draft. Like you mentioned, Captain's Draft is a bit different from maybe what they're used to. Newbie, they have a game. They have a day to wait, actually, before they play again, I should say. As our next series is going to be, I think, LFY versus Vici Gaming, I believe is what it is. So it's very exciting. Or LGD, I'm not sure which one. Let me check, actually. I have it right here. It is going to be LFY versus Vici.
Yep.
So that's pretty hype. Yeah. That's a great series, actually. And then we might have a Vici versus Newbie rematch if Vici could take the series. But again, against LFY, it's never going to be easy. LFY, of course, a team that did extraordinarily well at the last TI. Vici just coming off of a second-place finish at the Dota Pit Minor, where they had a 2-0 advantage in that best-of-5 series and then got reverse killed by Team Liquid. So very exciting stuff coming here in the next couple of minutes. We'll get that draft and lobby up for you as soon as possible. Essentially, we don't have a timer for it, but it should be within the next half hour. So with that said, we will take a break. We will jump into that series when it is up and ready. Thank you so much for watching us, guys. We're here on Moonduck TV. Stick around. We'll be back with more Dota action in just a bit.
Berwaldhallen. En världspremiär för er alltså, med Sabina Zweiacker och Sveriges radiosymfoniorkester. Och efter den urladdningen tror jag ni behöver någonting lite mer lättsamt. Jag tror faktiskt att vi ska ta oss tillbaka till den spelkonsol som ligger många av er allra varmast om hjärtat. Jag pratar förstås om Nintendos lilla grå 8-bitars NES. Vi ska höra musik från en väldigt speciell serie som jag vet att många av er tycker om. I Japan heter han Rokuman. Vi känner honom som Mega Man.
Hey guys, just wanted to give you an update on the lobby. We are currently 8 out of 10 players. 1 player from each team is missing currently. For VG, it's Ori. For LFY, let's see, who is missing for LFY? They're all, I think there's some fake nicks going on here, so give me half a second, and I'll let you know. All that you need to know is that VG just got Ori in. LFY are still losing, they're missing 1. We'll be done here, or rather, we'll get going here in a moment. So make sure you stick around. This is going to be the hypest matchup of the day. It is LFY versus VG Gaming. VG Gaming just coming off a second PI and still a very good team after doing a lot here these past couple of months. So we'll see what happens. Make sure you guys stick. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back into our last series of the night. It is Captain's Draft 4, the Chinese qualifiers, and our first round matchup between LFY and VG Gaming, in probably the best matchup we're going to have this evening. Out of all of the 4 best-of-3 series we've seen today through both NA and CN, these two teams, they've been dominant at times in this past year. VG Gaming just coming off a second-place finish up at the Dota Pit LAN, almost taking down Liquid. They were up 2-0. They had dominant performances in both of those games, and then they got trounced in every game thereafter. So looking to rebound here, looking to get to the Captain's Draft of event back in, of course, DC. That'll be in the middle of the winter. But LFY, they're not looking too shabby nonetheless. We'll see if they can't make this series an interesting one and maybe take the series 2-0. We'll see. Thanks for joining us here on Moon Duck TV. My name is Mont. With me today is Base Kip. How are you, Cameron?
Yeah, doing really well. I'm hyped for this match because, like you're saying, I think LFY are actually in with a really good shot, and I believe the last time that these two teams faced off against each other, which was somewhat recently, LFY actually did win 2-0.
That sounds correct. I don't have it on hand, but that sounds right.
Yeah, I'll have a quick look just to make sure, but I think it was let's have a look. It looks like it was Dream League qualifiers, so it was a little bit ago. It was about a month ago, but still a very good result